Hi, my name is James Skemp, and while I have a written review of The Third Birthday, I figured I'd also do a video review of the game, which might allow me to cover some points that aren't covered in the written review. However, I will talk about some of the things that I talked about in that review. First of all, you can see I have the game guide. It is not necessary to complete the game. This is more because I have the electronic copy of the game versus the physical copy, so this way you can clearly see that I'm talking about The Third Birthday for the PlayStation Portable. The Third Birthday is kind of, sort of, the third game in the Parasite Eve series, the first being Parasite Eve, and then the second being Parasite Eve 2, both for the PlayStation, the original. However, if you go into the game thinking that it's going to be like these two, it's not. While the main character of The Third Birthday is, in fact, named the same thing, and she exhibits some of the same behaviors, it's more of a not really a side story, a retelling, perhaps, or an alternate reality, if you will. I've only really finished the first Parasite Eve. While I have the second, I played a little bit, and then the controls kind of turned me off, and there's other games that I'd rather be playing, so I haven't gone back to it yet. Eventually I will, one day. So that's the important thing to keep in mind, is that if you're going to go into The Third Birthday, don't go into it thinking that it's like Parasite Eve and Parasite Eve 2. It's not. Instead, Third Birthday is a third-person behind shooter. The controls are pretty easy. The left button is for targeting. The right button is for shooting. You use triangle to dive in and out of characters, which basically allows you to jump into them, use their weapons. Now you've got their life bar instead of the character that you were in before. Square reloads, X will let you dodge via roll, and I'm not sure that circle does anything other than cancel in the menus. Use the analog stick for movement. You can use square and the directional buttons to change weapons. You can have between 3 and 4. If you're in a person, if you're in vehicles, then it's typically just the 2 shoulder buttons for using those weapons. 3 of the weapons you can choose. You can kind of choose. You always have a handgun with unlimited ammo, and then you can choose the other 2, the left and the right directional button, for whatever weapon you decide. And then the bottom directional button is for whatever weapon the character that you've jumped into has equipped. It's pretty quick gameplay. It took me less than 10 hours to beat it on easy difficulty. That also included 3 or 4 times through, half a dozen times through levels I replayed, and that was more because I only had 30 minutes during my lunch. Episodes after the first 2 are around an hour, so if I only had 30 minutes, I wanted to just get some gameplay in. I'd replay the first level or the second level. I chose easy more because I don't really play these types of games on any of my systems, especially on the PSP, and I wanted to see what the story was like the first time through. I also went into it thinking that I would go through it again, because I've heard about how you have to go through basically 5 or 6 times, stepping up through the difficulty if you want to get everything that can be had in the game. All the weapons, all the customization parts, all the equipment, and all the skills. It's a RPG, and it has RPG aspects in that you have a level, which ties in with your life. You have skills that you can equip, which are on a 3x3 square grid, which you can also level up. But that's more by getting these little chips and then equipping them. If you equip two that are the same, then the levels may increase, they may decrease. That's actually, it might sound a little complex, but it's actually really, really easy, especially because you can just retry over and over and over again. So if you don't like what you get, not a big problem, retry or cancel. So read the full review for specific details, but I definitely say that if you're going to pick up the Third Birthday, go into it just expecting a third-person behind shooter for the PSP. A pretty good one. Don't go into it expecting that it's going to be like the two Parasite Eve games, because it's not. Perhaps if I would have played the second one through, I would understand some aspects of the story of this game a little bit better, but generally people say don't think about the story too much. There's a lot of plot holes. Just play for the game. And the game's actually really good, so I gave it 4 or 5 stars, and I'd highly recommend it if you've seen what the game looks like and you're interested. I'd say go ahead and pick it up. So, hope that helps, and thanks.